bright sunshine, emerald water, and the dazzling glint of pure luxury. This is Portofino, the most exclusive and glamorous resort in Italy. It is a place where every inch is steeped in history, style, and the feeling of a flawless life. It is hard to believe that all this beauty fits into one tiny bay. Yet for over a century, this is exactly where the global elite have fled to escape the world. Here, the past and present intertwine at every turn. An ancient castle on the cliff watches over modern yachts in the harbor, while traditional Italian cooking lives side by side with the coast's most exquisite restaurants. Portofino is not just a place, it is a feeling. It is an atmosphere that photos cannot capture. You have to experience it yourself. In this video, we are not just looking at beautiful views. We will try to uncover Portofino's biggest secret. How did a tiny fishing port become a global symbol of luxury and a magnet for the elite? And what are those vibrant and colorful houses hiding? Get ready! We're about to take a grand journey into the most sophisticated corner of Italy. The most scenic way to reach Portofino is, without a doubt, by water. I took a small tourist ferry from Santa Margherita, Liguria. This is the closest major town to the resort and where the train station is located. The boat ride takes only about 15 minutes, but it is pure magic. I highly recommend this exact option. From your very first seconds on the water, you will catch stunning views of rocky cliffs, hidden villas, and the endless Ligurian Sea. This mini cruise instantly sets the mood and becomes a memorable part of your adventure. Of course, there are other ways to get there. For instance, bus number 782 runs regularly from Santa Margherita to Portofino. This is the most budget-friendly and accessible choice. The bus route winds along a narrow, twisting cliffside road. Navigating those sharp turns can feel quite extreme, and you certainly won't get the same panoramic views from a bus window as you do from a boat deck. If you love long walks, there is also a scenic hiking trail that starts right at the Santa Margherita train station. This scenic trail is about 5 kilometers long. The first half follows a comfortable pedestrian sidewalk right along the water's edge, leading to the quiet Emerald Bay of Parigi. From there, the real fun begins, the famous Walk of Kisses. It climbs up into the cool shade of the Portofino Regional Natural Park. Later, I will show you exactly where this trail ends in Portofino, and we will walk along it for a bit so you can see what it looks like and take in the incredible views. Well, we have just stepped off our boat onto the shore. The very first thing you will notice is the massive crowd. Truth is, Portofino is almost always packed. This tiny slice of land is practically bursting at the seams with tourists, especially during peak season. But do not let the hustle and bustle scare you away. Right now, we are heading inland along the village's main street, Via Roma. This is the heart of Portofino. It connects the parking area and town entrance with the famous little square, which is sitting right in front of us. Before we explore any further, let us dive into Portofino's history. How did this village even come to be? Centuries ago, the ancient Romans founded a small settlement here and named it Portus Delphini, which means Port of Dolphins. They chose this name because an enormous number of these friendly animals lived in the local bay. For hundreds of years, it remained a remote, quiet fishing village. The local men went out to sea, the women made lace, and no one else in the world even suspected this paradise existed. So how did this village change? Why did it suddenly experience this incredible explosion in popularity? It all started at the end of the 19th century. Wealthy British and German aristocrats began coming here in search of privacy and untouched nature. The first was the British consul, Montague Yates Brown. He fell completely in love with the area, bought an old abandoned castle on the hill, and turned it into a luxurious villa. Other nobles soon followed his lead. They built mansions hidden in the greenery, but the village down by the water still stayed quiet and focused on fishing. The real revolution happened in the 1950s during the era of the legendary Dolce Vita, the sweet life. Hollywood's biggest stars began sailing into Portofino on their yachts. Elizabeth Taylor, Bridget Bardot, and Clark Gable all vacationed here. They hid here from pesky paparazzi because Portofino had no car roads back then, meaning you could only reach it by sea. The resort became a symbol of absolute privacy, a secret club for the chosen few. And now for the most interesting part. What is actually hiding inside these postcard-perfect, colorful facades today? In the past, these were modest, cramped, and humble homes for fishing families. The ground floors were typically used to store boats and nets, while the families lived upstairs. Today, everything has been turned completely upside down. There are almost no regular local residents left here. Inside these historic walls now lie ultra-modern luxury apartments, private villas, and exclusive residences. Property prices here are absolutely astronomical. Because Portofino is so tiny and building new homes is strictly banned by law, the demand is wild. A small apartment of just 50 square meters in one of these colorful buildings can cost anywhere from 2 to 5 million euros. Meanwhile, prices for historic villas up on the hills reach 15 to 20 million euros and beyond. This is some of the most expensive and elite real estate on the entire planet. In fact, only about 400 people permanently live in all of Portofino today. And with each passing year, the number of native residents shrinks even further. Imagine every single one of your mornings starting not with peace and quiet, but with the roar of hundreds of tourist boats and the hum of massive crowds. Locals joke that during the summer, they live like goldfish in a bowl. Someone is always watching and taking photos of them. Everyday life here is set up in a very unusual way. Portofino has no massive supermarkets, large pharmacies, or standard hardware stores. Just to buy groceries at normal prices, household cleaners, or clothes that do not come from Gucci, locals have to travel to neighboring Santa Margherita. That is because every available inch in Portofino itself is taken over by expensive restaurants and luxury boutiques. Even a basic loaf of bread costs several times more here. The vast majority of those who are actually born here are elderly people, whose families have lived in the village for generations. One of Portofino's main landmarks is the Church of St. Martin. Its tall bell tower can be seen from practically anywhere in the harbor, and the bright, striped facade instantly catches the eye of every visitor. The first church on this site was built back in the 12th century. Over its long history, the building was remodeled and transformed many times, finally taking on the look we see today in the 19th century. The church was heavily damaged during World War II, but the locals meticulously restored it. For the people of Portofino, this church has always been the heart of the community. For centuries, the town's most important milestones took place right here. Generations of fishermen prayed within these walls before heading out into the rough, open sea. Families were started here, and major holidays were celebrated here. Inside, the church hides a true treasure. The interior is stunningly lavish and filled with vibrant colors. Ancient paintings and magnificent frescoes decorate the walls, while massive crystal chandeliers hang from the ceiling. The crown jewel of the sanctuary is its collection of wooden sculptures crafted by famous Italian masters. Today, Portofino is known worldwide as a prestigious luxury resort. Yet, this ancient church remains the ultimate reminder of its past, preserving the memory of a time when Portofino was just a quiet fishing village. And here is the famous Walk of Kisses. It connects Portofino and Santa Margherita and is widely considered one of the most picturesque trails along this stretch of the Ligurian coast. For some travelers, this is where their hike begins, while for others, it is the final destination. We are not walking the entire trail today, but we will stroll along it for just a bit. This way, you can see exactly what it looks like and soak in the beautiful views of the sea and the coastline opening up from here. The path winds through the Portofino Regional Natural Park, surrounded by pine trees and Mediterranean greenery. Spending even just a few minutes here lets you experience a completely different vibe, one that is much more peaceful and secluded compared to the bustling waterfront. Now we're looping back through Portofino's main square and heading towards the promenade to begin our climb up to Castle Brown. We leave behind the noisy summer cafes and the vibrant facades. Did you know that centuries ago, these colorful houses were not painted this way just for looks? Local fishermen did it for purely practical reasons. Returning from a stormy sea, they could recognize their own home from far away just by its unique color. The square itself used to be a simple marketplace where fishermen dried their nets and sold the morning catch. At the edge of the harbor, we turn onto a stone path that cuts steeply upward. Step by step, we rise above the town. With every single meter, Portofino reveals a completely new side of itself. The air is thick with the scent of pine needles and the sea, while centuries-old cypresses cast a welcome shade. The walk to Castle Brown takes about 20 minutes each way. Overall, the route is not too difficult, though it does kick off with a pretty noticeable incline. After that initial climb, the trail levels out and becomes a much easier, more relaxed walk. Right before you enter the castle grounds, there is a small area that feels like a garden or a courtyard. This is where you will find the ticket office. Admission to the castle is €10 from April to early November and €5 from November through March. And here it is, right in front of us, Castle Brown, one of Portofino's most iconic historic landmarks. Today, this spot is famous for its breathtaking panoramic views. But the castle was originally built for a completely different purpose. Its history stretches back to the Middle Ages, when the Genoese built a military fortress here to protect Portofino's bay from naval attacks. Perched high on a cliff, the stronghold controlled the entrance to the Gulf and served as a vital defense line for centuries. The castle gets its current name from the British consul Montague Yates Brown. In 1867, he purchased the old fortress and transformed it into a luxurious private residence complete with lush gardens and terraces. It is thanks to him that the castle took on the romantic look we see today. Inside, you can explore historic interiors, the old fortress rooms, the grounds, and several panoramic terraces facing the Ligurian Sea. However, most visitors make the climb up here purely for the observation decks. From this height, you get one of the most beautiful views, not just of Portofino, but of the entire coastline. Be honest, even if you do not plan to explore the indoor exhibits in detail, the climb up here is worth it for the views alone. This is exactly where you get that picture-perfect look of Portofino, the one featured in the best photos and travel magazines all around the world. Inside the castle, you will not find classic, opulent halls or museum-style luxury. At its core, it is an old fortress that was later adapted into a residential home and partially turned into a museum. As you walk through, you will see stone walls, narrow corridors, a few small rooms, and remnants of the old defensive architecture left over from the days when the castle protected the bay. But the real highlight here is undoubtedly the views from the windows and terraces. From almost any vantage point, you get a sweeping panorama of Portofino, the harbor, and the stunning Ligurian Sea. Portofino is often called one of the most beautiful small towns in Italy. And to be honest, it is one of those rare places where expectations and reality actually match. It is frequently compared to Positano on the Amalfi Coast, and that comparison makes total sense. You get the same vibrant houses, the sea sitting right at your feet, and the feeling that you have stepped inside a postcard. Yet, Portofino is much smaller and far more intimate, which gives it a very special vibe all its own. By the way, I also have videos on the channel covering Positano, Amalfi, and some other incredible spots along the Amalfi coast. So if you're planning a trip or just love the views, definitely go check those out. When it comes to Portofino, the most fulfilling experience is not just arriving and standing by the water, but exploring the whole place from top to bottom. You need to walk from the sea, through the little square, up the trail to the castle, and back down. That is the only way to truly realize how tiny it actually is and how completely different it feels from every level. At its core, Portofino is a perfect one-day destination. There is really no need to stay overnight. You can easily see everything in just a few hours. In fact, many travelers stay in Santa Margherita and come here just for a day trip to enjoy a leisurely morning or afternoon walk. Perhaps the best advice I can give is not to try and rush through everything, but simply to slow down. Sit in the square, climb up to the castle, look at the bay from above, and then make your way back down to the water. This exact loop is how Portofino truly reveals its best self. And with that, our walk through Portofino comes to an end. We are heading back down to the waterfront now to catch our ferry back to Santa Margherita. If you enjoyed our journey, please support the channel by subscribing, liking the video, and leaving a comment. It really helps the channel grow. Also, make sure to drop a comment below and share what you liked most about Portofino. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in our next travel adventures.